or beyond what you can imagine, right? Now, that puts us back on a thought process. If we have to reduce the burden of those children who are working in the coal mines, or those women, instead of taking care of their children and their household, working in the minefields to cater to their daily needs, what we should do, what are the steps that we can take? And you guys, the younger generation who are there, you are all the next generation who are going to take this forward. Dr. Hari and people who belonging to that is, they have spoken, they have not been able to execute many things. We, what we call a Gen Z or Gen X, I don't know what we are called, but we are trying to achieve something. But with their knowledge and our experience, we want to entice you people as to what can be done. Let me just take an example. We are all individual human beings. If each of us save just 1 liter of water a day, can you imagine the amount of impact it is going to have in your own ecology and environment, in your own town, in your own state, in your own country? Now, when you say water conservation, there are various means and methodologies. But the first thing that comes to mind to anybody is rainwater harvesting, which is predominantly spoken across. So it has become like a synonym. The moment somebody says water conservation, everybody thinks, it is rainwater harvesting. Right. Rainwater harvesting is just one of the steps, but it doesn't end there. Like, let me take a simple example. Now, when you open a tap in your sink, how much of water do you think it flows in 1 minute? If anybody can answer that question, I'll wait for 10 seconds.
I'm counting. Anyone, any one of you kids? Bhagyashree, Namrata, anyone? Okay, it can be Chirag, it can be Vineet, our team boys, Ismail.
Just take a guess. You don't have to be accurate.
Go on, Shanik, Rajat, whoever. Please. Please speak up. Okay, your 10 seconds is off.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you the number. A standard tap gives you anywhere between 6 liters to 8 liters per minute. Point number one, do you actually need that amount of water to wash your hands or wash your face or to brush your teeth? You need to think it over. Now, there are certain gadgets which are available, costs nothing. Probably, it doesn't even cost 1/4 of the meal you eat outside in a restaurant. If you fit that, then usually you're going to save about 4 liters of water every time you open a tap for 1 minute.
Only you must tell them that if they are using those terrible old taps, that it will be at about 12 liters a minute. And without aerators.
And if you, let's say, if your house has the old plastic taps or steel taps or a bib cup tap, sir, these can't be fit in there. You are wrong. There are attachments available for even for those taps which can save you water. Now, did you know about this? Nobody will tell you this. Same way, there is something called as a digital meter water concept today. What we say is, unless you know how much you are consuming, how will you think of saving it? If you don't know how much you are using, how will you save? If you don't know how much you are eating, how will you diet? It's the same principle. Now, we know that whatever water we use goes down the drain. Where is it going? What is it doing to the ecology? What is it doing to your nearby lakes? Do you know where is it going? Why? There are solutions available, technologies available, methodologies available where this water can be reused for various different purposes. Yes, there is a mindset to use it for drinking and cooking, but there are technologies available which can give you water to that quality. Forget, you can use it for your gardening, for your car wash, for washing your utensils, washing your common area. So many things can be done. Why don't people do that? Why can't people adopt that? These are some things, which you as youngsters have to propagate, have to think about it. you know People say, oh, sewage has so much of bacteria, it is not good for health, blah blah blah. But do you know, in sewage water, 98% is water, only 2% is your organic matter. Don't you think the technology which are available can clean that? Of course they are available. It is just that, people are not aware, or people don't want to think on those lines. It is your and our responsibility for us to make people to think on a different line and let them come to terms, because water is not available 10 years down the line. Let me be very clear. If at all there is going to be a third world war, it will be for water and for nothing else. and
Thanks, Murli. Yeah.
and we are already there. We are not too far away. We have seen what happened in Johannesburg. India is not very far away. And as per the latest Center Groundwater Authority report, most of the districts in Karnataka are red zone, which means we have overutilized our groundwater resources. So this should ring a bell in your minds. And Belgaum is one of that. And Bangalore is already there. So there are
Okay.
so many things. I mean, most of you use RO water, RO in your homes, and for 1 liter of RO water you drink, 3 liters goes down the drain. What do you do with that water? How many of us, capture that water, use it in some or the other form? We can't drink it, but we can use it for definitely other purposes. We can wash our utensils, we can wash our clothes, wash your car, wash your bike. I mean, these are
Sure,
some
sure.
things
We'll,
which can
we'll
be
leave it
used.
there. I think you have registered the fact that all of you see and look at the top. Target 150. What does that mean? 150 is in your house, each of you consume. Oh wow, who is this? Who's that? Please, whoever that is, please don't record. Because it knew it'll create chaos. Yeah, okay. Unless you mute your laptop and do it. Look at that target 150. That is, every day you're all consuming 150 liters in India. If you are in Chicago, you're consuming roughly about 400 liters. If you're in Melbourne, you're consuming about 160 to 170 liters. That's what the data says, and I've been talking to some people there. Now, if you adopted these 7 solutions that Murli sir spoke about, you can bring it down to 100. You can even bring it down to 50 liters per day. And how? The trick, the magic, ask your professors, they will tell you, is that thing number 6. STPs, it says. What it means is that if you treat your wastewater and reuse it for 50% of your water requirement in your apartment or whatever else your father is running, your father's office, your father's business, we can change it. There are people here. There is Sam, sir. There is his name is, he has put it as Sam. His name is Sam Papu. He's sitting in Chicago. He manages every day, I think, about 20 million gallons per day or some such thing as water treatment. We have, eminent leaders here. There is Dr. Prakash Tata. You can see his name there. You can see Dr. Rajaram. Can you say hello to us, Raj, if you're there? And turn on your video if you don't mind.
Yeah, can you see me? My video is on.
Okay, it's on.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you.
Yes, his video is on, sir.
And welcome to all of you from there. Good morning to you once again. And before we invite you to, maybe speak for a while to motivate and inspire our young Indians here who are present, or most of them are engineers, some of them are architect students, I will request some of our WOW leaders in the next, say, maybe 7-8 minutes to see what they want to message. I can start with Neil Matthews, probably. He's one of our young WOW leaders here. He's been into rainwater harvest for some years. Neil, will you want to talk to the children, some 3 points as a message, and then ask these leaders from the United States who are here today with us as to what you think they can do for us?
So,
Neil?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, one very important thing I want to tell about is water, air, or basically nature itself is in severe problems, and we are seeing all kind of issues all around the world. So, I think children should basically elders should demonstrate, but children should start doing what we are learning and demonstrate it. So that is very important to do. So when we start doing that, actually whatever children are doing, elders will start copying and even start talking about it. So
Got
you
it.
will become the change makers.
Absolutely.
That is very important. And once how the Tesla became a very big brand in US. It is costly car, but still, when people took it up as a prestige of talking about it, how many kilowatt hour
Sure.
less I am consuming in my driving.
Sure, we'll leave that. What would
is
you
made
want to
me
what would you want to leave as a message for these guests from the US who are here, who are hugely committed to India? Many of them are Indians. Yeah.
So, like, yeah. So basically, I would say read, study, and practice. Practice is the best thing. Practice makes the propagation happen.
Got it. Wonderful. Wonderful.
I don't have anything else to tell.
Sure. Sure. Suresh Bhai, can I turn to you, please?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Now, we are focusing on the apartments in Bangalore to conserve water, mainly because we have around 20,000 plus apartments in Bangalore. And apartments consume around 18,000 crore liters per annum. So even apartment 10 lakhs liters, it is substantial. They can save something like 2,000 crore liters. Our mission is only around 1,000 crore liter for the current year to 2021. Now, why we have to do all these things? As Murli rightly said, what happened in Cape Town, what is happening in other parts is very important, that the climate change is taking place faster than what is predicted. Now, it is baffling the scientists also, stating that, it is happening. All the earlier climate studies are not holding good today, and it has to revisit it. Now, what is happening in Maharashtra, or you take in China or European countries, the flooding, nobody has predicted. They don't have any answers. Why it is happening? It is unplanned urbanization.
Suresh.
Yeah.
Bad news we know.
Yeah.
Your 2 points as a message for the kids,
yeah,
and your request for these guests from the US who are all formidable leaders, I can tell you, who have spent 40 years, 50 years in water.
Conserve water, and it will give back to you in the form of your next generation. This is the message.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What would you want to ask these leaders from elsewhere who have joined us today?
Know what technology they can give. For example, from the US, see, India is a developing country. We have our technology. Is there any better technology available in the US so that it can be implemented in a country like India?
Wonderful.
At low cost.
Wonderful. Very good question. Greetings, Steve. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, Dhirajan, please.
Two very short points. Mr. Hari has laid the foundation very beautifully through his 4 slides presentation in the beginning. Taking a cue from that, COP26 is around the corner.
The children won't understand COP.
Oh, Conference of Parties. You can Google it because I don't want to go into details on that.
Make it simpler for them, please.
Yeah. So basically, in all these conferences of climate change, people wear tie. I would suggest that if they stop wearing a tie and raise the temperature from 20 to 26 degrees, there's a huge disruption in consumption of water and energy. That's at a macro level. Now, let me come down to a nano level at home. Please offer small peg and large peg of water, because we do not know each other's thirst quotient. And the savings in this from India's perspective is roughly about 100 crores per day without any investment. Thank you.
So you heard it. To all you young engineers, some guest comes home, ensure that you give him only half glass water. Your mother might say that this is, you're actually offending your guest. But explain to your mother, explain to the guest, give them only half glass water. Okay, now forum is open. Anyone? Ganesh, would you want to say something before we invite our other guests from outside to speak?
Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning to the guests who have joined in from US. So first, I will take majority of the people who are from our neighboring district, Belgavi, right? So guys, we know Belgavi as one of the sugar bowls of Karnataka, right? Like the district where sugarcane is grown to one of the largest extent in India, right? But where do we draw the water from, right? We draw the water for the sugarcane cultivation all the way from Krishna River or any other river. why can't we use the treated sewage of Belagavi city, or for that matter, Bailongal and all these cities, for the sugarcane cultivation in your district? And as an engineering student, you should be able to pick this up, and you should be able to do this as a pilot project. And what is happening today? The water from Belgavi district is pulled all the way from till Hubballi and Dharwad, and the thirst of
Okay.
Hubballi and Dharwad is quenched from Belgavi district, right?
Can we ask Chetan Kale as to what his response will be to your question of making students do a project like that? Chetan, I can see a big grin on your face. Yes.
Okay. All right. So first is education. That's the most important. Creating awareness, I would say. Making them aware. What is the magnitude of the problem and how we can, basically address it. And then talking to some of the decision makers probably would be a good step. Because yes, we can discuss this, but unless it's implemented out in the field, it's very hard to actually, see any results. So, it's good. You make everyone aware, and this will start from the kids. That's what I feel. So
Yeah,
I
hi
think you guys
Chetan.
are doing a very good job. I'm really congratulating you all for all your efforts. So
Hey Chetan, Ganesh this side. To set the context right, we have floated one similar idea with JSS College in Bangalore. The kids who were part of the WOW last, and today they could not join. So we were also discussing with them for such kind of a pilot project. So that would be really great if these kind of thoughts are put in the young engineering minds, because today's young engineering minds are tomorrow's what do you call
absolutely,
infrastructure builders, right?
absolutely, and we have got more than 500 million in young minds out there. So I'm sure they can make a big impact. So,
How many have you got in your college at GIT?
Yeah, good evening, sir. This
Good
is
evening.
Dr. Vaibhav.
Yes, Vaibhav. Can you tell us how many you have as students in your college at GIT?
Sir, we are.
You can turn on your video so that we can look at you also. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The bandwidth will take it. These days, this technology has made life very easy.
Am I visible, sir?
Yes, you are. We can
Yes,
see
sir.
you. Wonderful.
Yeah, good evening, sir. This is Dr. Vaibhav Chate. My specialization is in environmental engineering.
Okay.
And last year also we bagged one prize at the international conference, which was actually last year means 2019, because last year was a lockdown. So we bagged a first prize in the international conference, which was majorly on the recent trends in civil engineering. So wherein we addressed how to go for proper planning of the cities, because earlier civilization, if we check how our Indian culture used to have been and how our traditions have been, so wherein we used to plan the cities for rainwater harvesting in such a way that we used to give more space for infiltration of the rainwater and storage. Now what has happened is most of the areas, now if you check either Bangalore or any other cities in India, so they have been converted to impervious structures. Now this is one of the problem which is causing floods. So that means again, when we are addressing water scarcity problem, so this is one of the important parameter that we need to address, because how to go for town planning, whether this particular
Okay.
whatever
No, we'll
construction.
stop there. We'll stop there. That gets too complicated
Yes,
for.
sir. And the second thing, sir, regarding this particular proper utilization of sewage.
No,
for,
I'll ask you. Yeah, no. Let's not get into the larger debate.
Yes,
How many children do you have in your college? What can you do? If I were to ask, I mean, if you were to respond to what Ganesh asked, what can you do to galvanize their energy to work on a movement like WOW?
Yes, sir. So what we are thinking right now is, because already the planning for sewage treatment plant has been done. Now execution is one of the important thing that is very much essential. For that, awareness programs are equally important, because round about 85 mld to 90 mld of the wastewater will be getting generated by, might be next after 20 years or so.
No. You're okay.
How many students?
I'd like to stop you there. No, you're.
Number of students.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You tell me how many students can do what we are doing today. How can you join our movement?
So one is awareness program.
Lovely.
Yes, sir. Second, what we are thinking is, can we take up one area and try to think about sustainable development? Might be in terms of rainwater harvesting system.
Okay. Okay.
That is the second part.
Okay.
And third part, we can give some awareness program to few areas wherein the people are not so responsible to utilize the water in sustainable manner. So that means we need to carry out some campaigns
Got it.
in such a way that even the school children will be made aware about the importance of the water.
Got it.
So that is what we are thinking about. Because
Okay.
of pandemic situation, we have not taken up this particular
Okay.
assignments.
Okay. Now I'll turn to Rajaram, who in the when he was in his 20s, he worked in those regions of East India, some closer in districts of West Bengal. No, that was Dr. Tata. And he says that Dr. Tata says he speaks, even to this day, he speaks Bengali very well. He won he does a paper sometime when he was about 24 or 25 and wins an award for excellence for that paper in 1956. Is that right, Dr. Tata? Was that 1956 when you got that award for excellence? That's right. He leaves India thanks to some very chance kind of happening. And for the last 60 years or so, he has been there. He's 85. He doesn't look a day over 60. He is 85. And his passion and commitment for India is enormous. Yesterday, I was having a conversation of maybe 65 minutes with him. And I heard a lot of things from him. And I've asked him to do the impossible. I've asked him to speak in maybe 3 minutes to motivate and inspire us all at WOW first as leaders, and then you all as the young builders of India. Dr. Tata.
Good morning, young minds of India. It's always a pleasure to rub shoulders with the young guys, I feel very young when I do that. So if Prakash Tata can do it, anybody can do it. That's the way I feel about it. Talk is cheap. You have to commit yourself. So I will give you, because I have only 2 minutes, I'll tell you what you can do, these engineering minds that Professor from in the college he spoke about, what he's going to do. You see, you need a lot of boy power, youth power, and how do you get that? I'm a Rotarian. I suggest to you, it doesn't cost you much. Find some good clubs in your area, and there are what are known as rotor actors. These are the young minds again. They have a spark in them. That's why they are rotor actors. And what you need to do, tell these old guys in Rotary that they crave for some name and fame. All right? We give them the name and fame right up the front. So what you need to do, get to the rotor actors and start the projects, because you need two things. You need the commitment, the passion to do it, and the money. Of course, passion and commitment, we can make it. It doesn't cost us anything, but you have to motivate the minds of that. And how do you do that? The professors have to dig their feet on the ground, not just command. And you work with them like a boy. I do that. Rajaram does that also. Sam Papu does it. We all do that. Our frustration when you come to India is you guys don't work with us. You have to work with us. You have to dig your feet on the ground. And with the rotor actors, you can move mountains. They are not corrupted yet. We are. Believe it or not, they will make you corrupt because you move in the corrupt circles over there in the adult age. You have to get rid of that. So be passionate, be persistent, and be perfect. Thank you.
Very nice. Grateful to you, Dr. Tata, for keeping it concise, very precise. I will turn to Dr. Rajaram. He calls himself, for ease of reference, he calls himself Rajaram. He says in a book that he wrote some years ago that the opportunities for all of you children, I'm saying this, and for teachers too, the opportunities for volunteering your time, your talent, and your treasure are many, he says. And then he adds, You have to choose. You're all 2021. You have to choose what fits your interest and your passion to serve, he says. Dr. Tata also used the word passion. Raj, first I must thank you for coming into our lives, for trying your best to see what you can do. You brought in Sam Papu, you brought in Mary Eggert, and she has brought in Emery Smith and many others. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you very much, Hari, and good evening to all of you.
Good morning to you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I feel blessed that I can talk to committed people because I am a big fan of Gandhiji. He is my role model from the day I was born. And he said, practice what you preach. So I tell people, especially the universities and some elders, that if you practice what you are telling the youngsters, they will do it. Otherwise, they will lose faith and trust. Okay? So, for example, I grew up in India in the 50s and 60s. I grew up in a joint family of 20 people. And we got water 2 hours in the morning. We stored the water, and I have been used since my teenage years to taking my whole bath with a bucket of water, or sometimes half a bucket of water. Even today, when I go to India, I don't stay in any fancy hotels. I can, but I will not. I stay with my relatives and still take the bath with I have a bucket of water with a little bit of hot water when if it's cold. So this is what you can do. My home here, Hari was saying in Chicago, we use 400 liters. I don't do that. Every drop I save, I say, you know, I do not use my dishwasher. I use my washer clothes washer very sparingly. And I just say, just wash the dishes, put it out there on a rack, dry it and put it away. You don't need the heat and the water that a dishwasher takes. You can be extremely frugal. And that is what, I have been practicing. And for energy, I have a solar system in my roof, and I get 90% of my energy from solar. So this is what I firmly believe in. We have to do it. Water is life. Without water, we cannot survive. The planet cannot survive. Plants cannot survive. Animals cannot survive. So we have to conserve. My 3 words I use repeatedly, and I've written a chapter in a book about smart cities: reduce, reuse, recycle. First, how can we reduce? And Hari and Wow has made all these things available to you. How you can save water, not waste a drop of water. And then how do you reuse? Water that is gray water, we call it, just not from your toilet, can be easily reused. And like one of the speakers earlier was saying, RO water can be reused. So all these things, how do you reuse? And then recycle. Hari was showing some pictures of trucks. I'm a mining engineer. I started off the Kolar goldfields, 5,000 feet below ground in my career. And I came here after 6 months to study here, and I tried to go back. People said you're overqualified with your PhD, so I came back here. But since then, I started a company in India to promote wastewater recycling, reuse, and hazardous waste management and all that. And I'll tell you 2 inspiring stories. One is my friend Anne Feldman from Chicago. She lives on the doorsteps of Lake Michigan, the greatest freshwater body in the world. And she was visiting her Buddhist teacher in a monastery near Mysore. And she was coming back. She saw some riots going on, property damage, all kinds of things on the street. She asked the driver what's going on. They said, people are fighting, and for the Kaveri water decision was made, and they feel Tamil Nadu is getting more, we are not getting, and they are damaging property, they are fighting.
Sure.
And then she said, I have to do something when she came back. This was about 7, 8, 9 years ago. she started a website called waterpressures.org. Please go to that website. And she spent a whole year going to Rajasthan, taking 10 students from Northwestern University to see how people live. There's so little water there. And when these students came back, the whole semester they challenged themselves. They developed an app, water app, to see how little water they can use, how much they can conserve. And she put all this in a beautiful documentary. If you go to waterpressures.org, you will see it. If a person from Chicago who goes to India for a few days, few weeks, can get so concerned about the water situation in India, why can't you people who are living there, seeing the struggling people who don't get water? My heart aches when I see rural people having to go, 2-3 miles to get some water, and that also is not clean water. So it is in your hands to do it. So this is one story. Another story is of the Israeli people. When they became a country, similar same year when India became a country, they knew they had to survive. So in a small country, they developed techniques to save water, every drop of water. And I urge all of you to read a book called Let There Be Water by Seth Siegel. And that book tells you word by word how you can manage your water, prevent wastage, recycle every drop of water.
Great.
And Ganesh was saying about sugarcane. I grew up in Shakkar Nagar, where tons of water was used. And what Ganesh is saying has to be done. Otherwise, we will not survive as a country, as a city, or whatever.
Over.
Every drop of wastewater is precious because when you recycle it, Dr. Prakasham Tata has done this for 60 plus years, has got nutrients. And we did a project, Dr. Tata and I, to recycle this water for irrigation. And the productivity of the lands increase with this recycled water.
Sure.
So this is the kind of thing we have to do.
Right.
And let us get inspiration from a small country like Israel, people like Mary, Eggert, and Feldman, who feel for the people around the world. And we can do it. We have to do it. We can save every drop of water. And that is my passion. I'm here to help. And lastly, I worked with a group of about 20 colleges last year through a group called Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, IUCEE.org. And I took the task of mentoring about 200 plus students on how to get clean water, how clean water is. I did a 1-hour webinar and I challenged all of them to do projects on their campus to recycle water and reuse it. And I got about 8 or 9 wonderful proposals from colleges all over, from Himachal to Gujarat to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. And they all said, sir, we want to recycle water from our canteen and reuse it. And one said, our laundry uses so much water, sir, Kalasangam Academy in Madurai. So how can we recycle the wastewater? So we are going to come up with a design to recycle our laundry water. And once we make it work in our campus, we can make it a nationwide thing. So I have been working with them. They have come up with wonderful lab experiments to do it. As soon as the pandemic is over, they're going to implement it in their community. And I challenge all these students of these 50 plus engineering colleges that are part of IUCE that I mentor on sustainability and leadership, saying, you have to do this, go to a community close by. This is how we develop compassion for other human beings who are not as fortunate as you. Go there, see what their problems are. And most of it is problems in slums, they don't have water, or rural areas. Go, you put your engineering minds to work and solve it. This is the way to do it. And I will keep, my email, Hari knows, anybody of you young people want to write to me, I guarantee you in 24 hours I respond. With all kinds of resources that I have in India, people here like Prakasham Tata who can help you. So
Wonderful.
Unless there is a will, there is a way. So please develop a will and you can do it.
If we have your permission, we will put up your mail ID on the chat box, Faiza or Kevin or someone, please do that. Mary Eggert, can I turn to you now? I'll come back to Dr. Tata after he has heard some of you guests from out there. And then I will turn to people like Dr. Ramesh who are here, and back to, of course, people like Dr. Chetan Kale. Over to you, Mary.
Yes. Well, greetings, everyone. And I'm so honored to be here. It was just a year and a half ago. I was with Dr. Tata and Sam in beautiful Hyderabad for the conference. And if you're okay with it, I'd like to just briefly show a bit of our platform, or we could do that at the end.
Yeah, at the end we'll do that. Okay. I'd like you to see if you can leave whatever you believe is a message that they can take away.
Yes, so wonderful. Well, Dr. Raj just mentioned Let There Be Water, and it was 6 years ago that we connected with Seth Siegel about Israel's great initiatives. And I had been an exchange student, been back to Israel 6 times in my life to see their water innovation. But what was really amazing is that as we heard about 2030, which was referenced with the COP earlier, we knew that there was a limit to the water available, and we also knew that there was technology to solve this problem. The sad thing that we discovered is that there are 30,000, probably actually 300,000 different water organizations, and each of you are innovating separately. So there's a lot of duplicate work with creation of technologies, with special best practices like you all have with the WOW Action Forum that aren't being shared and instead are being duplicated at great effort. And so we created what's called the Global Waterworks community. I put it in the chat group with a direct link, so you don't have to get permission. You can join directly through the link in the chat. And what we are attempting to do is solve for 4 things that we saw as a problem in the water sector, which all of you youth can help us accelerate by spreading the word and using the community. And the first thing is that people have been disconnected from the water. You showed the pictures of the people hauling coal and they're often hauling water, but our plumbers and our, particularly here in the US, they've hidden the water. So the amount of a small car goes inside and outside of a home every day in water. You would never carry that home from the store, but we use it. And unfortunately, much is wasted. As Dr. Raj said, we could use that bucket.
Mary, my question to you would be, we all know that there are solutions. We all know all the wonderful expertise this world has got. And many of them are here. I mean, beyond you, there are wonderful people here who are solution providers. But why is it not happening? So I think
will. You need a will.
No, that is from technical engineering. How do you move to human engineering? And what is that? As say 2-3 messages like Dr. Tata left with us that you would want to leave with this group here. What is the human engineering change that we want?
Yeah, the human engineering is actually happening through the peace engineers that are in our group too, who are saying it's about connecting and collaborating. We heard water could lead to wars, but in fact, it's leading to peace where people talk and they share the best practices and the successes and celebrate each other.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Yes, and just one final point is that we can now measure what we've always wanted to manage. All of this IT is available, and you're making that happen with WOW Action Forum. And by celebrating these successes and sharing them, we can scale globally. And it's a beautiful thing. So a pleasure to be here with everyone. Thank you.
Stay on. No, there will be things. We will come back to you again. Faiza or one of you. Yes, Raj. Yes, Raj.
I have to leave in a couple minutes.
Okay, wonderful.
So one thing I want to mention, our Sanatana Dharma. If our kids read a little bit about Gita or our Sanatana Dharma, it says compassion to another human being is number 1. Compassion to environment is number 2. Compassion to animals and the environment. So if you develop that compassion, human engineering will come.
Sure.
If you follow the dharma that I cannot get everything and another person doesn't have anything, that is impossible for me to stomach. And so if you do not have that compassion or thinking of another person, you will not move. Human engineering will not happen. So please develop that. Our culture of 10,000 plus years has tons and tons of guidance. Just follow it, just develop a clear conscience, do it, and then you will come out ahead and the whole society will benefit. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Absolutely. Thanks, Raj. Sam Papu, can I turn to you? Is there anything that you want to say beyond engineering at levels where we can bring such behavior change and how you can help this process in India for our cities?
Sure. Yeah, basically when I was in India, I was a steel man. Like for 17 years, I was in the steel industry. So in 97, when I moved to US with a green card, then like anybody else, I was in the IT for 5 years. Then when my company is like little going down, then Dr. Tata motivated, like, why not you come back to engineering? And particularly there's an opening in the wastewater industry here with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. So I took a 50% pay cut and then joined this organization. But now, like, I'm more than happy to join this one and heed Dr. Tata's advice. The first thing is like what we do is like in the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, for the downtown Chicago and 128 municipalities around, we call it Cook County. We take care of all the wastewater treatment for the whole of these things. Okay, and Lake Michigan, the best water resource, freshwater resource, and 24% of the world's surface water is in the Great Lakes. You know, like it is with us next door, the backyard of us. So we take care of that, the pollution control of that, and the flood control of this. This is our organization's the main responsibility, and it is a 130 years old organization. We have a capacity to treat. We have 7 wastewater treatment plants, and it is a 2 billion gallons B for boy. Like
Sam, can you tell us what we should be doing given our challenges in India?
Once we when we started this water and waste management like 5 years back, like with a goal of like to motivate and to create awareness in India, particularly on the wastewater side. So we don't use in US now the wastewater word. It is a resource recovery, as one of our colleagues previously told, like 98% is water and other things are all like the resources there, like the energy and then the nutrients. That's what we do. So basically, the one thing what I will say is like, for example, like first is the conservation of the water. You guys take now the program of like 1,000 crore this one. So that much of fresh water you are saving, that much of wastewater we are saving, that much automatically. That is one thing. The second thing is like the wastewater awareness is very, very minimal. I can say that in India, everybody talk of the water means like fresh water. We have a bottled water, RO systems, like your UV systems, and you think you are good. But once you take that in the nature, there is no wastewater. If you take that like there is no human being and look at the nature, and the nature is self-sufficient. It has got like fresh water, it recycles, and then everything is fresh, right? It takes care of that one. But when we enter as a human being, we are the people, once you consume the water, we are making it wastewater. So it is our responsibility to take care of the wastewater. We know that like you cannot build like what we are operating.
Got it.
So we have to go for a localized, like the recycling of the waters. Like many people already are taking care of, and in India we are taking that. And we have got like a lot of beautiful technologies in Canada and all these people, like so many like industries that.
Let me also tell you that in his enthusiasm to help and support us, he spoke to the Association of Telugu-speaking people around Chicago. He spoke to Kannada-speaking people around Chicago. He's found somebody from Chicago. Can you talk about the Kannada-speaking whatever people and how you are trying to see some of them here in Bangalore can also join WOW? Can you talk about that, please?
Yes. See, basically in USA, we have got a very big population of NRIs, and everybody is like in the most of them IT and the doctors and a lot of other they're doing well. And everybody has got like the ethnic associations, like Telugu Association, Kannada Association, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and all that, and nationwide associations. We do like every year or 2 years huge functions with millions of dollars, inviting the guests from the politicians and then movie actors. So what I tried with my association, which I connected with the Telugu Association, hey, why not we do it something on the wastewater and the water side here? And we made motivated and got my American Telugu Association president to my first water and waste management conference in Hyderabad. The same thing once Dr. Hari talked to me, immediately it strike in my mind is like, why not we get like connected to the Kannada Association locally? We have got Vijaranya, Kannada Kota. I talked to the president, I got it connected to Dr. Hari. And these people, they don't know that like, okay, this is also the one of the important things to do, and we need to do resources, something mobilize. So definitely they will get it connected. That will be a big resource. And these people also get connected to these programs. That is one thing. And finally, I close with a remarks. Like if you see our water and waste management, that is what, like as I told, it is a resource recovery. That is the good word like nowadays we are using. And you see that our Gandhi's quote, like it says, the earth, the air, the land, and the water are not an inheritance, quote, inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. So that is the quote of the Gandhi, and that is what like exactly we keep it in our water and waste management, this thing, and all our things like that. So that means we in 1960s when we grew up, we swam in the rivers, we went it, and we took the water from the directly anywhere and drank it. Are we in the situation there? No. That means already our generation has failed to hand it over the way we got it from our forefathers. So now somehow we have to take up this responsibility, and that like now the people has to think in that manner, like how we can able to better the environment and pass on to the next.
Got that.
Thank you.
Mary Smith, thank you for being here. Thanks to Mary, you're here. You know, Chief Seattle wrote something of that kind, and you know, people have immortalized it. It's somewhat like what Gandhi said, and you have had, that is, you know, the settler American, shall we say, of the last 200 odd years, has had a certain, you know, legacy that you all secured from all those tribes who owned the lands in the United States. That tradition, how much of that do you believe the Americans have taken? And there is a universality of this challenge today, the emotional universality of it. Of you having a water challenge, of us having a water challenge, and the rest of the world. Every city in the world has this challenge today. What do you think that this small one movement that we're doing here, which seems unparalleled, that is shocking to me, that 10 billion liters for 1 year as citizen collective action is unparalleled in the world. And I can't believe that. What do you think we should be doing, Emily?
Thank you for inviting us here. I just have to say I'm a fourth generation Californian. California's history is built on the war of water. The north-south issues between our great state. One state is the north has the water, the south needs the water. There's big battles. The greatest thing that happened was that people need to eat. Because people need to eat, they decided to work together and collaborate so agriculture would have water. I think one of the things that happens is that when you have a conviction in your heart that you care about other people, then you realize that I have to do what's good for me, but I have to make sure it's good for someone else. Very simple logic, very simple protocol, but it's so hard because most of us are selfish. And we want to turn the water on when we want to turn it on, and we turn it off when we decide to, instead of realizing how is my action affecting someone else. So my statement would be simple. We love competition, especially as men. The Olympics are going on. Especially as men, we love competition. But when competition becomes collaboration, then mighty things happen. When we're just competing, we forget the following year who won. But we fight. Even if it's just in sports, we do this competition. We're not really joining as one and seeing the great impact we could have. So my word would be, let's collaborate even more. Final point, I am self-interested in what goes on in India. My niece lives in India. She has an Indian fiance. She actually works for UNESCO in Oroville. And I would have a question. Is Oroville's insight as a planned community, is it being heard in greater India? Do children understand what a planned community looks like? Does it understand the resources there? Or is it just a nice shiny thing that we do to store up information? Thank you very much.
Very lovely, very precise, very inspiring. How is my action connected or hurting someone else? How is my action hurting someone else? He is asking you all. And then twice he said this, most of us are selfish. There is, I call it the IMM graduate, I, me, and myself. All of you children who are listening in, I hope you know. Murli, can I turn to you? What would you want to ask these leaders from half a globe away who are spending time with us at 7:30 or 8 o'clock for them in the morning? They want to do things for us here. Their heart lies here. And the longest distance, forget 10,000 miles, is between the head and the heart. It's 14 inches.
Right.
Their heart is clearly lying here. What do you think that they should be doing for us? From all the things that you are so committed to yourself.
Right. Sir, one thing I would like to say is Dr. Tata said,
Louder, louder.
Am I audible? Okay. One thing like Dr. Tata said is, put your foot on the ground, be a ground man. There are things have changed. There are a lot of people, who believe in action and not just talking. So, we are doing a lot of things here on our own. So if we can have a global collaboration as to learn the right things, doing the right way, then that can also be done here. Probably we might be doing something right, which might not be being done in other parts of the world, or there might be something which are being done in the other part of the world which we are not doing right. If those things can be corrected and comprehended, then that would be a great contribution, not just to India, but to the entire globe.
Good point. Mary, can you respond to that, to Murali?
Yeah, I think it's about doing that one thing right, but then about sharing and encouraging others who have the opportunity to do things right so that we spread the word on successes and accelerate the impact.
Dr. Hari,
Yes, Dr. Tata.
Yeah,
yes.
So the water and waste management, the organization we created, we have got like our aim is like to create two platforms.
Yeah.
One is a knowledge platform. The second is a business platform. That's how like we are trying to, but it's a platform, like so anybody can come out.
Sure.
So to address the previous, the speaker's question, that's where like we are trying to get like all the knowledge people, like right from the Dr. Tata to Mary and Mary's Global Water Works and all these things, 1,700 of their water people and all that on the knowledge platform. And also the businesses will come, so those people will interact. So the platforms are already available. We'll make it open so that like people can come onto that platform and then look for that one, like what exactly you want it in that.
Murali, back to you.
Sure, Sam. I'll have a look at it. Thank you so much.
What else would you want to ask? Dr. Tata, can you respond to that? Go out and visit, you said, and Murali remembers that, and he says to all the kids, and we all know travel is the best teacher. If they don't visit some of these terribly hurt environmental, micro regions, even in India, they won't understand the damage and the hurt that they're causing others. If I were to go back to what Emery Smith said. Dr. Tata.
Yeah, there are examples right in India itself. If you go to Harera, the Maharashtra region, that gentleman was an engineer. He came back with a lot of tumbleweeds going, and then he made it so water luscious. And then he demonstrated that thing. You're absolutely right. When you see examples of what was done actually in India on the ground with Indian hands, with Indian people's Indian mind. And there is this fancy thing, and all the time I hear, because I spent 3 months in India volunteering. I've been doing this for many years now. And one thing I hear, as our young engineer said, we need the technology from abroad. You have the brains, and you don't need our technology. You can't even build pit latrines very nicely that can be used again and again and again and again. So please, please don't. It's a fancy thing. Give your technology. What technology? Even if we give our technology to you, you won't be able to operate and maintain it. So what is the point of giving any advanced technology of reverse osmosis? Don't drink reverse osmosis water. It is bad for you. It takes the minerals out. You need minerals. If you take RO water, add minerals to it and then drink it. Don't buy it. If municipal tap water is coming, just disinfect it and drink it. Or ask your mother to boil it, you can drink it. Very simple. I do that in India. I don't buy bottled water unless I travel by train. Okay. So there are things, this is a fancy word. You give our technology. You have brains, my friends, young minds. You're intelligent. I'm one of those guys. I thought I didn't have any brains, so I'll go to America. Let me tell you, India has created a zero, which is revolution in the computer field, binary system and all that. So don't think you're less smart than anybody else.
Sure. Wonderful. Very nice. Dr. Malali Gowda. Yeah.
I go there. You can emulate people, but don't think they're smarter than you. There is so much wisdom.
Exactly.
We lost it because of the bloody slavery, but the rules of the Mughals and the British.
That's
even
okay.
after 70 years of independence, still they're corrupt. The nation is corrupt. I'm sorry. I beg them to come to me and ask me for solutions. I go there to India. I will do the work. You don't have to pay me anything.
Dr. You've got to listen to this amazing young man. He must be in his early 40s. I don't know him as well. Niranjan Khatri knows him well, who connected a lot of other people also. His name is Malali Gowda. He's here. He brings the two things you talked about, Sam spoke about. Well, of course, Mary is, epitomizing it, both compassion and compassion. Malali, can you in the next 2-3 minutes tell us, Malali Gowda, can you tell us in the next 2-3 minutes of the work that you're doing? Go on. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just refocusing my camera. You can see that rain is coming. You're all working on how to harvest the rain, right? So we have a great technology, particularly in India. I'm from the Western Ghats. So how to bring this rain? You can see the monsoon.
We can't see you too well. How do we get him onto a full screen, please? Just one moment, Malali. We can't see your screen. It's too small. There you are. Go on. Yeah. Okay. Go on, please.
Okay. So.
Yeah. You got to show us. Yeah.
So we have a greatest technology on the planet Earth, rainforest. How to create the rainforest in short period. And I started in my native place, Asan district in Karnataka, all over the world. I visited, I was in the US 10 years. Everybody asked how to convert granite for a short period and revive the water. So in our village, we have, maybe 10 feet, you can get a water in the open well. It was not there in 2000. Can you able to hear me?
We can hear you. And the solution is no big deal. You know that. The solutions are there, plenty of them. Yes. Why is it not happening and what should we do about human engineering it? That is what we want you to speak about. Because this sustainability dialogue has gone on, it's boringly gone on for 20 years and we are not changing anything. Al Gore, 30 years, I would say. Al Gore said this in 20 years ago in 2002. Nothing has changed.
We have changed.
What do you think we should do to change it?
I'm saying.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
So, I work on more on forest.
No,
forest.
Not what you work on. We want to know.
I'm telling you the message. Please.
Sure,
I'm telling everybody.
Sure.
Go back to your village, either your village or a city. Create the forest around you. It will create the rain, and also it will percolate the rain into the ground.
We lost you there. Yeah. We lost you. Yeah, your audio is a challenge, Malali. Hello? Malali, can you hear us? We lost him. He'll come back probably. Niranjan Khatri, you heard all of them, and you know Valali well.
One,
Yes, yeah. Go on.
so,
We can hear you. Yes.
so the other part, the forest, it creates the livelihood for the farmers and also the supply chain to the cities. And what we're getting in the tap, in the water, it comes from the rainforest. I think we need to work around wherever you are there. Because I navigated sitting in the United States, navigated the village, and they could able to transform this. Each one of you can able to do that wherever you are. It's possible, and that's my message. You can revive the water without rivers.
Absolutely.
If any more questions, I can able to talk to you individually.
We can revive our waters without
I don't know whether to
rivers.
convey the message, but
A very nice message. You can revive our waters without our rivers. I'm sure all of you young Indians are listening to what he is saying. This recording will be available later. There's not a problem. Any of you children any of you young engineers, you want to respond to what all these older people have been saying, including myself. Anyone who wants to respond? All of you youngsters, please speak. Unmute and speak. Faiza, can I start with you? Then maybe it will encourage the others to speak. Or Pallavi, or somebody else. I'm asking people I know. Youngsters, please. Dr. Ramesh, can you suggest one of your children to speak? One of your students? Dr. Ramesh Mehta.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
Ask one of your children to speak, please. So many of them have come in today. They're listening to all these wonderful leaders. We want to hear from them. We have another.
I request few students to just speak about the things. Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sir. Yes, students, please say something.
I find this quite amazing. They all come, they'll attend because Sir says so. After that, they won't speak. Manjula, Manjunath, Manthan, any of you, Mitali, you got some wonderful names. I was reading all of these when, when you were all registering. Darshan, come on, yeah. Somebody has got to speak. So many of us are waiting to hear you all. Chirag, can I ask you and Vineet? Vineet, you've been doing so much work, such fantastic work. You listen to all these guys. Speak, please. Vineet, where are you?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yes,
yes, sir. So Malali sir just said, like, go back to your villages. Like, how do we encourage youngsters to go back to their villages? Like, these days, it's become a trend, like going to villages and they just like put it on the social media. They just like.
Turn on your video, Vineet. Turn on your video.
Sure.
Yeah. And ask your friend Chirag also to speak along with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, how do we like encourage the youngsters to go back to the villages, or how do we encourage the youngsters to take up water solutions, or like create awareness about it?
Sure. Also,
like, what I've noticed in my college is like most of them don't know about water solutions, or water is a problem in the city right now. So how do we?
They don't even know that the problem exists, correct?
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Many don't know that the problem exists. In fact, you know, the problem that most people who want to do business in water have as a problem? They go to people to sell something that can't be sold because they don't think that there is a need for it. Do you see that? Second is, who am I to ask somebody to go to a village if I am not willing to do that myself?
You got it.
Right? So there is a challenge, a huge deficit on what I preach and what I practice. And somebody said that in the beginning. Chirag, you got to speak. You have two parents who are doctors, and you said, to hell with it, I am not going to be a doctor. And you became, you're becoming an engineer. Why do you want to be an engineer? And what is it that you're learning with the things that, you're interacting, you're finding with this lot of people at WOW? Chirag. Chirag, where are you? Is he there? Kevin or Vineet, do you think he's there? Chirag is there?
No, I think he is not in front of
Okay. Bhavna, you have to mute, or since you're unmuted, you can tell us. Okay, now she's clear. This is another challenge we have in this country, Dr. Tata and all of you. They're brilliant children, I can tell you. Trust me on this. All of them are individually, like you said earlier, they're very, very intelligent. And yet, when it comes to speaking, they don't. Chetan Kali, since you run, these things, can you respond to this as to why our children don't like to speak? Chetan.
Well, I would say they're not shy, but it's just that, they feel it's kind of ignorance, like they don't want to expose themselves. Again,
But if they speak,
I studied in Vijay, then I came here. Dr. Radder was one of my professors, and
lovely.
it's my passion. Honestly, it's my passion. I started my company, and I'm thankful. I took that big step because I got to meet so many people after that, and and it's a learning experience every single day. I'm also part of the STEM Association for United States Minority Contractor Association. I'm the president of the Architecture, Engineering, and Technology Division. And we got STEM chapters now, and we encourage students. We give students scholarships to attend STEM programs, and with India too, I feel that's the need. We need to encourage these young minds to take up STEM. IT is part of STEM, but they're more fascinated towards IT. No offense, my wife also is a computer engineer.
I know.
And my son also wants to become. He's also confused between computer engineering and civil engineering because he likes both. So my simple thing is in India, what I've noticed is a lot of vendors or the people who sell the products, they try to teach. And no offense, but we need to learn from professors or experts rather than from the vendors who are selling the equipment. It's great. They sell you RO, DF, all kinds of equipment are sold by these vendors, and they seem to be the ones that people seem to hear more. Rather than the actual, professors or the guru, the real people who have the knowledge. So again, the students need to, find their own niche, and they need to grow their careers. Just following somebody is what is happening in India. Unfortunately, I've seen it with, my friends and everyone. They just seem to follow somebody, and if 50 people find a company that's valuable, they give them, but that company can go bankrupt in 5 years. Then what do they do next? They have no answer to their, what do I do next?
Absolutely.
They just seem to be following a herd. That's what I feel that herd mentality should be, we need to change that. That's all.
Very well said. Very well said. Yes.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, doctor.
Because you see, we cannot ask the young men who are graduating engineering colleges, spending so much money to go back to their villages.
No.
Want to take money like hell, hand over fist. You have to do that.
Correct.
But what you can do right now, you have the youth. I tell you, if your college students, by the mentorship of your professors, who are rather constrained by their management to approach anybody, they have to teach there first. If you could form an alliance among yourselves, all these students, regardless whether you're engineering students or sociology or commerce or whatever students, go there in force to your minister. There is money there, but it is wasted. A lot of money is wasted in corruption, I think. And even they build shoddy products. You go to the representatives in just force, about hundreds of you. Sir, we want to do this. Our college has to do this project. We are going to undertake this watershed. We have to clean it up. Our professors are going to do that for us. We will do that as like a Sena, like an army, because they listen to you. And if you go to the villages, your mom and dad will probably like what the desert. They're spending a lot of money. You make money hand over fist. Come to America, make money. But think about your motherland, your village. Spend the money like I do, because I was so helpless. I can't even talk to somebody over there, to an official. And my professors also wouldn't let me go and study. Bloody hell, do your homework.
Let's ask Dr. Ramesh Medar, who is teaching in this school, in this college. Ramesh, you heard what Dr. Tata said, what Chetan Kale said. What do you think? What do you think you should be doing as probably projects or whatever it is to excite children into doing those things? Ramesh Medar, can you speak? Are you there? I can see you here. Okay. Well, we'll have to.
Sir, can I answer on his behalf?
Yes, please, Vaibhav, please.
Yes, sir.
You can turn on your video so that we can look at you too.
Yes, sir. Just a second, sir. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Because it helps for
Yes,
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm audible. I'm audible, sir.
We can see you
Yes,
too.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we can think of guiding some projects wherein we can plan for some low-cost adsorbents or some nanoparticles or nanocomposites or nanofiltration membranes. We are in line already, and we have published a couple of good papers there in American Society of Civil
You
Engineers.
see, there are people like Sam Papu here who are all experts at many of these things. There is Vikas, he was here until just now. Another colleague of his here, Gautaman is here. I can put you on to such people. They will help you learn. Tarun Kumar is here. Tarun is another wonderful man in water. Go on. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, I went through a few of the papers from Taiwan and Israel. So they are more into this particular kind of nanofiltration and nanotechnology field. So from there, we started with these projects. Now we lag with few funds for the students. Either it might be with respect to characterization. So when we talk about microanalysis, it costs little bit more for the faculty as well as the students.
That's
So
okay.
that is
We'll work that out. Those are all challenges later. But
yes, sir.
To go back to what Dr. Tata said, or even Chetan said.
Yes. Yeah.
What is it that do you have the resolve in your college between you and Ramesh and others to see that you are able to incubate such minds into doing things that India needs while they have to earn money? Nobody is saying that they shouldn't be earning money.
Now we have established a green club and nano club in this connection.
Right.
So we are in line, sir. I may not say we have achieved 100%, but we are in the line, and we would like to achieve more.
Yeah, Murli, as an old alumni, what would you want to say? And is there anything that you want to ask? We have another 4 minutes before, unless there is, excitement. I don't see us exciting. Extending this meeting, Murli. So, what is your response to all the three people, Chetan Kale, Dr. Tata, and Vaibhav?
Sir, all I can tell them is if they have anything, WOW Action Forum is open for them to approach. That is all I can say. Don't be inhibitive about anything. If you need any kind of support, and if we need any kind of support from you people, we are open. You can approach us at any point of time, and we can definitely collaborate and take things forward in a mutually beneficial way.
Lovely. Lots of yes, Dr. Tata.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Once, by sitting here 10,000 miles away in Chicago area, once I did a project. I told you yesterday in our conversation. That was my dream project, which is still working in Duppada village in Vijayanagaram.
Solid waste. Yeah.
Applied for a small grant to work on that one. When I went to Department of Science and Technology in Delhi, see, I walk. So I moved my body over there, working with that officer of the Science and Technology. And he said, Dr. Tara, you see, we have plenty of money, but nobody applies for grants. That's what he was telling me. And he said, take the opportunity, Ramesh and the gentleman who spoke, while you are trying to do some nanotechnology, nanomembranes and all these other things, which is sexy, because Americans are doing this and our colleges are doing that. We are not able to filter our own tap water source, river water.
Got it.
Sand. And now we are talking do that, because you need the recognition by publishing in magazines abroad. That's okay. But at the same time, you have money over there. You said lack of resources and things like that. I can tell you, use the foreign brand, because we are very fascinated about collaboration with foreign agencies. We are here to support you. And he was asking me, I'm going to approach you. No, I'm not going to approach you. You approach me. It is your turn to do that because you need it. I don't need it. I live 18 months here, 2 months only in India. So we have to have the passion like a leech, that blood-sucking leech. That kind of a passion you have to have, and you have to motivate the student to do that. And we write projects together. You write it, and you get the money.
So there's a message for you all. Come back to us. Like Murli said, come back to us. We will help you with every one of these things. I'll turn to Mary, then to Emery Smith, and after that to Niranjan Khatri. Mary Eggert, your turn. You have heard so many people. I wanted to come back to you to see what is it doing in your mind. I know your 24/7 kind of commitment to these things. What do you believe we should be doing from here? How can you guide this for us?
Yes. Well, thank you, Hari. I think exactly what you're doing here, where you actually get to meet and hear the hearts and minds of each other, because we may be motivated by what people say, is a good outcome, a number we can measure, but truly each one of us wants to make a difference. And when we can see that area where we're gifted and talented to complement someone else and work together as Sam and Prakash and Emery and you and Chaitan, actually everyone on this call is doing, by coming together, offering their best so that we can be in collaboration and extend the excitement that you provided. And we put your event yesterday in the community and asked people to let them know to be inspired because of the amazing savings you've already accomplished. So we hope to share that with the U.S. water conservation groups and follow your lead. And that's what it's all about, celebrating, connecting, collaborating, and celebrating is what we want to do. So thank you all. It's such a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Thank you, Mary. Emery Smith. Emery, are you there?
Yes, thank you. In all humility, I have a faith tradition story that I would like to close with. It's very brief. There's a story of a man who was traveling, and a robber took him out and left him on the side of the road, beaten and hurt, not able to survive. It's a story called The Good Samaritan. Two people come by, very wise people. They come by and they say, it's not my problem. I can't touch them. It's someone else's problem. They go on by. But a person unexpected, a person called a Samaritan, someone who was not expected to do anything, said, no, I will take up this matter. I will take up this person, and I will put him on my own animal, and I will take him to an inn, and I will ask them to care for him. He took personal initiative. He took personal desire to make a difference in one person's life. I think that it's not the intellect, as we said earlier, it's not the intellect, it's the heart. And if our heart will reach out with our hands to our brothers, our sisters, we'll see change. It's a simple protocol, a very simple thing that any school can teach.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
And let me add to this. He mentioned Orwell. It's a great example. I mean,
Orwell, they're too contained. They are not connecting back into the rest of the world. They're just creating one island for themselves. I'll turn therefore to Tarun. You've been listening very, very carefully. I know you've been committed to these things for 20 years. You work in wastewater. You work in zero energy wastewater. What is your take, Tarun? And what do you believe these leaders from the United States can do to impassionate, to inspire our young Indians here and water users in Bangalore? Tarun.
Yeah, hello all. Yeah, I think more than technology, collaboration, I heard this, you all heard about the collaboration before.
You have to raise your volume.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. So again, it's about collaboration. Sometimes collaboration clicks, though you all know. For example, we worked with the Biomimicry Institute Montana to develop a wastewater treatment system, which doesn't need power, right? So inspiration came from a lot of resources and knowledge exists across the world. We knew it, but we got extra hint from Biomimicry Institute Montana. How do you research? How do you get the best out of our customers? So a lot of research happening across the world, which we can harness for a common good And look, if you look for nature-based solutions, so not necessarily nano chips or latest tech, also go back to good old nature. There are people researching across the world. If you can get them all together, to give an example, a lot of research is happening on this desert beetle. Desert beetle puts the leg up and collects the water, and through his abdomen it goes to his mouth, right? In a desert and lots of water, right? And again, purely shape, no tech, right? So this research is what we can possibly harness and solve a social need. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Very lovely, very brief, but very thought-provoking. I'm sure some of the children out there, you're all listening to what he's saying. It's never about any fancy technology like Dr. Tata said, and now he's saying, Tarun sir is saying. Niranjan Khatri, can you come in now at this stage, and then I'll go to Ganesh Shanbag.
My story on water is very long, but due to time constraint, my Cape Town movement was on 1st of April 1990 when my hotel supply was cut down from 10 KL to 2 KL per day, and we didn't have the luxury of Hari giving us inputs. And we looked at all our issues in a very brutal manner and reduced our water consumption by about 80% those days when there was no technology. The hotel was the smallest hotel with the least amount of occupancy and very little.
It was a 5-star resort in Andaman in Port Blair, and he was the general manager of the hotel. Go on, Niranjan.
And since that time, I've been having sleepless nights on water. And the things that I learned was there is no good that I have the knowledge on this water only. We created ripple effect. We were a very small unit, but intuitively we realized that what we had done was something very wonderful in the hotel. We had moved out from supply side management to demand side management. And we started getting into the policy domain, and we started pestering the government to do rainwater harvesting, and I'm happy to say that 20 states have made it mandatory. Having said that, I leveraged the advantage of the industry. So I started something called greening of the supply chain. So we told our suppliers, you have to reduce your water consumption the following way. Then when I retired, I don't have a supply chain, but I create my own supply chain. I am part of the management committee of my housing complex, where I have already introduced saved 7 million liters of water last year through rainwater harvesting. And a few days back, I sent a very hard video to the community, and one lady said, I want to tap all the ladies in India to do the simple things on water management. I sent her a 4-slide PPT, and she's already getting a good response. The essence of my message to her was, don't tell anybody what to do. First, you do these things in your house and then talk. Thank you.
Lovely. Niranjan is always very short and precise. Mary, you wanted to show a presentation, but I don't know. It's 96 minutes.
Time now.
Yeah. No, it won't. But I must reassure you, Mary, that the website of Global Waterworks as well as of WWM, we are just sharing with each of these people, hoping that they will read, hoping that they will come back to us. Murli, as an alumni 1991 of the same college, can you now persuade Vaibhav Chate to see that he listens to this set of our leaders and makes his college campus into a net zero water campus and a net zero energy campus? Can you talk to him just now when Vaibhav is here? Murli.
Absolutely, sir. That is my next target, and hook or crook, I'll do it.
How do you now line Murli up? I mean, sorry, Vaibhav up on against a wall and ensure that you get a commitment?
I will do that, sir.
Vaibhav, do you want to respond to Mr. Murli Anur?
Sir, we are very much interested to collaborate with WOW. So we'll be very enthusiastic. Whatever the assignment we are going to get.
Lovely.
Yes, sir.
And Murli sir will speak to you. He's a fantastic guy. He's from your college. You can't have anything better. He speaks Marathi also. So that could possibly be an influencing factor for you. You see, my God, look at Dr. He can speak Bengali to he can speak as well in Bengali also, by the way, and Telugu, because he comes from, we all know Ranjit Singh ji, we know Vizzy, the cricket champion. He comes from Vizianagaram, and he knows the current ruler, who is who is possibly a successor to Vizzy, the cricketer. Wow. Okay. Yeah. He comes from Vizianagaram, therefore, that place, not Vizag. I'm talking about Vizianagaram. Right. Okay. Well, any last words from anybody before we close? Anyone who wants to take 30 seconds, leave a powerful message for the WOW members as well as to the students here.
Compassion and collaboration.
That's right. Very nice. Emery Smith, any one line from you?
That's the word, compassionate collaboration.
Okay. Mary?
A big ditto. Thank you for organizing this. Let's continue meeting together. And I'd add deadlines. Deadlines, Dr. Raj said, nothing happens without deadlines. And so Chaitan and he and I are working on very specific initiatives that we can share the results on, as you are doing with WOW Action Forums.
Right. So Chaitan, you got to, there are lots of things that I've shared with Mary to a point where she's despairing with the multiple, barrage of mails I've been sending her. Please see what you can do to reach stuff. Emery is laughing.
Well, like I said, let this be a sustainable movement. I don't want this to be like we start it and then we stop it. And Dr. Tata agrees, every year we do the same thing. And what I notice is students join, they work for some time and it's gone. And unfortunately, that's what, where India should learn is we should have a sustainable movement. And that is going to bring magic.
I'll put it like this to you. We can't, Chaitan, we can't talk about the rest of the world. I can tell you that every guy out here at WOW is committed. They're all marathoners. They are the long minders.
That's the secret,
They won't quit. These are not quitters, right?
We want 50 hours match. We don't want a 20-20 here.
No, we want a 4-day test match, 5-day test match.
That's where you get the quality out. Otherwise,
absolutely.
It's just knowledge comes and goes, So.
Got it. Anyone else? Any last words? One line, anything? I like. Yes, who was that? Yes, Niranjan, please.
Since we have so many engineers and AI is the fashion of the universe, can we use AI technologies to account for every nano drop of water?
Dr. Vaibhav Chate will take that up, I'm sure, because he's talking nano all through. But the word of caution is what Dr. Radder said. Boil your water. Don't look for some fancy technology and RO and bottled water. So we have to remember our roots, our simple ways of doing things, then look for some complex technologies.
No, Hari, I'd like to correct you. I was not talking in a nanotechnology sense. I was talking every small drop, nano drop.
All right. Thank you. I didn't hear you. Absolutely. Nano drop. Absolutely. That's a very powerful message again, like compassion and commitment. Great. Well, since everyone, I must thank all of you for having spent a good 100 minutes now, 101 minutes. And I think, Mary was right in saying what she said. This is a journey we have just now begun. We need to continue. We need to persist, as Chaitan says. You need to come back to us with what you can do. Trust all of us here. People like Murli are only one sliver of this massive group of people who are committed to this. You tell us what you can do to help, and we will take this forward at some demonstrated levels as well as at other levels of outreach. Thank you so much. Grateful to you. I can't thank you enough for all of you children and all of you professors out there at the KLS, Gokte Institute of Technology, who managed to find time and be here. Look at it. There are 98 people still in the meeting after 100 minutes. 98 of you. There's obviously something of interest. You have not dropped out. Obviously, you find something of a lot of interest. We want you to come back into every meeting. And I request all of our well-wishers and and mentors from there, from the US, to come back to us into our further meetings. We are at the edition 16, and edition 16 has somewhere changed things. And Raj and Mary have brought a whole lot of other dynamic into these things now. We hope that Emery, Chaitan, and a lot of others will also come in. I was expecting Usha Bhaskar. I think she's not here. I'm looking for her.
I am here.
I am here. Oh, I'm so sorry. My apologies.
Sorry, actually. I just realized the meeting was there. I was busy packing, going out today. So I'm sorry, but I'm glad, I was able to hear from last 10 minutes, and I see lot of participation from the kids, and I will definitely get connected.
Lovely, lovely to hear from you. Is there a message that I'm sorry, I didn't notice that you were here, so and you didn't speak to. So very nice to have you here too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Usha Kinney, last words from you. You're the one who always has to close things. Usha Kinney?
I remember Sri Padre's words.
Your video, please. Your video. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I'm not sure if the light is okay. That's why.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. So I remember Sri Padre's words, the rainwater man from Karnataka, when he was with us in one of our earlier meetings, what he had said about the WOW meetings, that, it's a dream come true. 10 years back, we would not have imagined that we can get so many people connecting every fortnight on water-related, on this water-related meeting. So I think this today's meeting is really a dream come true, and my faith in this movement gets deeper and deeper when I see such a large gathering. Water positivity and positivity in human relationships go hand in hand, because water scarcity we fight over, there are wars, and solutions like rainwater harvest and other solutions bring us together. So I feel this positive energy, and I think we should make the most of this. Positive energy is what is going to keep us going. And thank you, Mary. I will just resonate your words. Let's continue to connect, collaborate, celebrate. Thank you all the guests for joining us. Thank you all the participants who have joined us for the first time, and of course our core group, which is with the faithful, the loyal group, I would say, who's been with us since WOW 1, and we have a lot more for you in store. For the young engineers and kids, let me confess that I am Dr. Hari's newest and oldest student. So 1,000 crore liters has meant so much for me. The learning of 1,000 crore liters has meant a lot for me, and we want you to join all our action groups. We have lots of action for you. For the youngsters, you must get on board on our action groups. I won't go into those details now, but we'll connect with you. Murli is here, the bridge. Thank you, Murli, for making this possible.
Pleasure, Usha.
Yeah, so the young engineers and your mentors, the professors who are with us, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Very, very beautiful message, Usha. Very beautiful message. Thank you,
Can I just say one
Dr.
thing?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. I just
Yes.
wanted to say to because Chetan brought a point that students come and the students goes.
Yeah.
So that's what happens, Chetan, because because of the so many things. I don't have to tell you about what. But what I say is that for the kids, always remember, all the students, give them a small task and they complete it. So whatever small task we give them, and then ask them to come back after a few months and do the next task, they do it. And trust me on that one. I'm having little experience with these kids now, so that's what I have learned from my experience. So something like that.
Tell them in the next minute on what you're doing in Maharashtra and where you're coming from now, maybe. Yeah, so there you are. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for turning it on.
Usha to Usha, hi.
Yeah, Usha to Usha, hi. I know.
Hi, Usha. How are you?
Hello.
You see
Good,
that?
good.
Yeah, go on.
So
Go on,
what
please.
I'm very well connected with Pani Foundation. It all started, in back 2016. I have come from even though I lived in city and all, I'm very well connected with the villages there. And Pani Foundation has done a wonder in my village. And
Where is this? Which district is this?
This is in Satara, in Maharashtra, Satara district. And there's a village like Shirdon and Loni, and I'm very well connected with these villages. So that is where I'm working with for the Pani Foundation. And then we started our own foundation here because kids just got interested, and now we are working. All my mentors and my gurus are here. Today, Dr. Tata, Rajaram, Mohanji, and Puna. So everybody's here today. So I'm being learning from them from last many years, and I work with the kids now. So we have a group of close to 1,000 kids, and we do a lot different things. And
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, Sam Papu. Today you possibly didn't get enough time. I've spoken to you for long lengths of time. I know your commitment, Sam. Can you tell us all? Can you in a way that we understand, that the others understand what I have understood of your commitment to doing things in India, Sam? You can unmute. and you've spent 100 minutes with us. So you're really committed.
Yeah, when I started my career in the wastewater side, port wastewater, now it is called resource recovery. So then when we go back to the India, one thing I see is like we are the leaders in IT, undisputable, right? And we are the leaders in pharmacy, the medical, and all these things. But when we go back and see the natural resources part, particularly the water, is the quality and other things are going down. As a country, we cannot sustain the development.
No, we know that. Yes. No, but
So
I don't. Yeah. No,
like our thing is like it is simple. Like wastewater management, WWM. What we have done is we have created that platforms, like and we are already 3 conferences we did. What one we are doing in Thailand? The Thai government has invited us. So basically the platform is like the good word, like what we can say that so that we can invite everybody onto the knowledge platform. So we facilitate. We are not the best people there, but like you bring the best people onto the platform. So and the consumers will come there, like everybody, so they can get each other. So that is the main motive. So that's what like we are striving for us, like to bring in. So and we already made good progress, and we are continuing that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
This is Malali. Last word.
Yes, Malali, please.
My students are farmers. Okay. I think the way of word is thinking differently. I am a postdoc, PhD, and all this, but I learned a lot of things from the rural areas. A lot of innovation can happen. That is what India needs development. That's what I meant to say. All of you go back to villages. Means I'm not saying not to go back. Sitting in the city, you can able to connect. I was sitting in the US, back to my village, brought the river, water bodies back. So
very nice. And your mail ID and stuff has been put in the chat box. And if people come to us, we will turn them to you. You need volunteers for the wonderful work you're doing on lakes and such. We'll see what we can do.
It is self-replicating. So we have thousands of across India.
Yeah. All of these 3-letter words, whether it's WWM, it's GWW or WOW, all of them are enabling platforms.
Yes.
We are here to see how others can make use of this. We are like those use me garbage bins. Please use us. See what you can do to make the most out of whatever we are trying to do. And our intent, your intent, everybody's intent here. There's such beautiful convergence, as Usha was saying. We need to make the most of it. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much once again.
And point is like the technology, like 100 people we joined it together. Probably 3-4 years back, we could not have done this.
By the way, I must tell you.
Possible.
Yeah.
So even if we are doing that something in your village, and invite us, probably we'll be there. And then
to all of you, I must say it's not 100. Actually, what happened is this is a Zoom meeting, and there is a ceiling of 100. The rest of them are watching on YouTube. They're all there. And our boys have made that happen. They know the digital. I mean, we are all analog guys. Those are the digital youngsters. They have made that happen on YouTube, Sam. And this whole thing is being recorded. We can send it to you if you like, but then you wouldn't want to listen to it. This is really helping. Post-COVID, this has been one of the phenomenal, most wonderful things that have happened to us to get minds together. We'll stop there. Thank you so much. I think we have exceeded our own brief on time and outliving it. Thank you, Usha. Both take Usha's now, and then we take it forward from there. Next time, everyone.
Have a good day.
Happy weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Tata, for being here again. Once again, thank you.